Thank you so much. Yeah, our agenda today is going to be covering, we're going to be highlighting Ireland's top university, like I said. We're going to be highlighting Trinity College Dublin and also Dublin City University. We have the reps here joining us today. We have Antonio from Trinity College Dublin. We also have Frank from Dublin City University. Hi, Antonio. On this webinar, we're also going to discover Ireland and strengthen our knowledge on Ireland as a destination itself. If you have any questions in the course of the webinar, please put them in the Q&A session. And after the webinar, if you have further questions that we were unable to cover in this session, you can just send a message to your ApplyBoard account manager for further information. So right about now, I'm going to hand over to Antonio to give us the update on Trinity College Dublin.
Thank you very much. And it's very nice actually to have the opportunity to talk to all the partners of from everywhere. I'm going to share my screen. And as you can, okay, I don't have the right to share the screen. If you can help me with that, that would be great. But in the meantime, anyway, as you've seen, I'm the regional manager for the Middle East and North Africa in Trinity. So we have different regional managers, and all of us are helping you through ApplyBoard to make sure that the students, they have a smooth transition if they apply for Trinity. Let me see if I can share the screen now. I should be able to do it now. Okay, yes, 1 second. So in the introduction, I'm going to talk to you about Trinity, the programs that we offer, what make us a different university in comparison with others, and also about Ireland, because obviously when you're students, they think about where to apply. Everything is a full. So we are talking about changing a different country, a different culture, and not just the university and the programs. I will go through to Trinity, our history, about the beautiful campus that we have. I'll show you some pictures in case that you haven't been in Dublin. Rankings, the people that they have come in the last 400 years of history of Trinity to study with us, the great international experience that our students enjoy, programs, not all of them because we have many, but I highlight a few of them as a sample. The location of Trinity in particular is extremely unique as well. The career opportunities, the student experience as a whole, and the range of support that the students that you help will enjoy when they come to Trinity. This is the oldest university in Ireland. We were founded in 1592. For all of you that they are good in maths, you can make the numbers. So it's 407 years. Yeah. We were founded by the Queen Elizabeth I at the time that Ireland used to be part of the UK. Ireland is independent for more than 100 years. And this is actually that I very enjoy because obviously Ireland is the main English-speaking country in the European Union. So you are in a very unique position in terms that you have a country that is part of the European Union, but at the same time has very strong links with the UK and the US. Trinity is one of the 7 very old universities in the English-speaking world. We talk about Cambridge, about Oxford, Edinburgh, St Andrews, but Trinity is the only one that is in the European Union because it's in Ireland, and it's also the only one of them that has a full historical campus in the middle of a camp. We were modeled after Cambridge and Oxford, 2 universities that we have still very strong links. This is a very iconic image, not only of Trinity, but the Dublin City as well. This is the Campanile, and it is the beginning of the campus from one of our main gates. But I'm going to show you a few pictures around, so you get familiar with our camp. This is one of the main gates. We're right in the middle of the city, as I will show you later. You come through the gates of the campus, and then this is the beginning of on the right-hand side, in that building with the columns, is my office. So if you come to Dublin, please give me posted, and I will be more than happy to have a coffee with you and show you a little bit around. And this is a combination that is fascinating. So you have the history with these beautiful buildings. This one is so beautiful that we call it the museum building. All of you that you are based in the Middle East, I hear about a couple of people in Jordan and Lebanon that will be very familiar about some of the buildings, historical buildings that you have there. And this beautiful building was inspired. But this is a combination of Trinity. You have the history, and then at the same time, many modern buildings that they still make us one of the best universities in the world. This is our old library. So when you come to Trinity, when you actually come to Dublin, the capital, there are 2 main landmarks that you come as a tourist. The first one is not Trinity, unfortunately, is the Guinness Storehouse where they made the famous beer. But the second one is the Trinity campus, and in particular, the Trinity Library. It's a very stunning library that we have more than 1 every year to visit. You have an immersive experience after the library. We have a very famous book that is more than 1,200 years old, called the Book of Kells. But more importantly, it's a functioning library. So all our students, they have access to the very old books. It's not a museum. And we have a lot of books on many libraries, not only this one, because we are the only Irish university that we are at least 1801. That means that for more than 200 years, every single book that has been published in England, in Wales, in Scotland, and in Ireland, we have to have a copy. We have been around for a long time, and always the university has been a reference in the world. So we have fantastic people studying. We are really proud of people like Jonathan Swift. He was a famous writer that wrote books like The Gulliver Travels, or Samuel. We have Oscar Wilde here, probably the most famous writer in English, together with Shakespeare in history. Ernest Walton, he got the Nobel Prize in Physics, and he was a student, but also a professor of physics in Trinity. Thanks to him, we know how to split the Samuel Gettet, Nobel Prize, that got the Nobel Prize for writing. We have here William Campbell. William Campbell got the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2015. I know that many of you will face a difficult conversation with families all the time that the kids, they want to study medicine. This is very competitive to study medicine everywhere. And Trinity indeed is very difficult. So sometimes I use William Campbell as a sample to tell them about other opportunities related to health science that can make a difference. William Campbell didn't study medicine. He studied biology and biomedical science, and he discovered a cure for river blindness. So thanks to him, there are many people in the world that they can see. So if they want to make a difference in health science, they can study biology and biomedical science in Trinity. Mary Robinson and Mary McAleese, these two ladies, they were both presidents of Ireland, both studied law in Trinity. Sally Rooney, one of the most famous writers in English, young writers in English. She had 4 books, and 2 of them have become very popular. One of them, Common People, or many other people like Jack Leeson. He was an actor that if you are a little bit my age, you remember Game of Thrones. He was one of the many people linked to Game of Thrones from Trinity. Trinity, the top-ranked university in Ireland. At the moment, it's 87 in the world. We also are really good university in terms of helping our students to have a good career in many different ways. We have a very high level of employability. We have a really good career service, included as well possibilities for internships. And as we will talk, and I'm pretty sure Frank will talk about it as well, Ireland is recognized as the Silicon Valley of Europe. So many of the IT companies, pharmaceutical companies, banking services, they have made Ireland their home, and many of them, they have the headquarters for Europe. So if you study in Trinity, the top university in Ireland, anything that you can link to this industry, you have a lot of opportunities to develop your career. Trinity is also a very international university. So if you have students from your countries, from India, from Bangladesh, you have a student from Jordan, from Lebanon, from Ghana, from Uganda, likelihood is that they will meet people from the country. Then at the same time, obviously people from everywhere, and also Irish people, so they will enjoy the culture that they are part of when they are students. We have more than 120 different nationalities on campus, and around 35% of our students, they are from outside of Ireland. Also, our academic body is one. I check actually was the most diverse academic body in the UK and Europe. 40% of our academics, they're from outside of Ireland. So we have many programs, so I'm not going to talk about all of them, just for you to know all the different schools that we have on the huge range of programs that I'm pretty sure that you can find most of the programs that any student can ask you for. And you can study from everything, from the foundation to the master level, degree indeed, and postgraduate programs. About the foundation, I will talk more later, but the foundation, just to mention, we have a foundation program that is only for Trinity students, so it's not made, we don't accept any other foundation program, and the student that they apply for the foundation is not a student is just for a student that they're really good students, but they are doing a curriculum that doesn't allow them to apply for direct entry. For instance, if you are in Nigeria and you do O levels, you don't do A levels, you need to apply through the foundation. Or if you are in anywhere in the Middle East and you are doing Thanawiya, you have to do the foundation program. If you are doing IB, for instance, or A levels, you have to apply for direct entry. Most of our programs are 4 years, our master 5 years, and some of actually the programs, they have the master included. The location of Trinity is very unique. You see, it's a beautiful campus there, but if you haven't been in Dublin, you don't realize that we are in the middle of the three main streets of Dublin City. You have Grafton Connell Street, and you have Dame Street, and in the middle, Trinity. You have a walled campus where you can enjoy a fantastic student life between these walls, but at the same time, as soon as you get out, you can enjoy Dublin, which is a very friendly capital. Irish people have the reputation of being one of the friendliest people in the world, in a very safe city. You have many things to do in terms of theaters, museums, restaurants, nightclubs, everything, but at the same time, it's in a very safe environment and in a capital that is no more than 1 million people and extremely well communicated with everywhere in Europe. And also, you can see you are very close to the nature. So you at the top, you can see the Irish Sea and then also the Irish mountains on the right. And the location of Trinity is very unique, not just because you are in the city center, because you are surrounded by many of the major multinationals that they have made Ireland their home. So there is a lot of synergy between the industry, not just because Ireland, Trinity being the flagship university, we are neighbors. So it's very easy to work with. I was mentioning before how good is our career service, but this is something that we encourage our students to engage with. So we don't look for jobs for them, but they have all the tools there to be successful. Offer as well the possibility to earn a stay-back visa. So if you are graduated from an Irish university as an undergraduate, you have 1 year to look for a job. And if you are doing a master after your graduation, you have 2 years to look for a job as well. A sample of many of the industries that they have made Ireland the headquarters. So we are talking about many companies in the IT, pharmaceutical sector, medical devices, as I mentioned before. And the students, when they come to Trinity, they also really enjoy as well the social aspect. We are really good at clubs and societies. We have almost 200 of both of them. And you can practice almost any sport that you want, from beginner level to almost professional level. And in the society, you have societies for entrepreneurs, NGOs, for traveling around Europe, African society, Indian society, everything. We are, I believe, very good at societies because we have been doing societies for a very long time. In fact, we have the two longest standing student societies in the world, the Phil and the HIST. These two ones, particularly, they are debating societies. And you can see a little bit of the range of people that they invite to talk to, and they come to campus to talk to the students. We have many support to students. I'm going to mention only one really specific one. It's the Trinity tutorial system for undergraduates, that every single undergraduate student, they have a tutor that will be the same one from year 1 to year 4, and it's typically an academic from a different school. So they have the freedom to talk about any issues that they have, financial, academic, health issues. This is something that Irish families, they really love to have, but for obvious reasons, international families even more, because they don't tend to have family or in the country in case that the kids, they need any support. I only have 5 minutes, so I'm not going to go through all the programs. So I will go very quickly. Apologize about this, but just to give you a few key things to look for yourself if you want to help a student on a particular program. So this is about the foundation program. I mentioned to you that they have to be very good students, that they are not doing a curriculum for direct entry. They will get a conditional offer, and a place for them will be locked into first year. The successful rate is very high because we really want to pick up students that are really good. We block places for them in first year. So if they don't progress, we will be in trouble. So we want them to succeed. They also have the possibility of accommodation in our sister campus in Marino, which is very close to the main campus, and they are in a very compact and safe environment when they study. They have two different pathways. One of them more like business in terms of humanities, law, and then you have the other one that is more technical about engineering, health science, and science in general. You have to do 4 modules in both pathways. English and maths is a must, and then you can pick up 2 modules depending on the undergraduate that you want to do afterwards. You have an example here, is a Lycée Diplomatie from Turkey, but using our website, you'll have the requirements for many of the different curricula. In terms of ApplyBoard will help you with all. They will apply for you, and they will tell you what exactly they need. In terms of undergraduate programs, just to highlight that we have a very unique dual degree with Columbia University. You do 2 years in Dublin, 2 years in New York, and you get a top degree from a top European university and a degree from a top university in the US. There is 11 options, and you have to check them out to make sure that the one that your student want is there. Important, this is an early application, so you need to contact ApplyBoard before the 2nd of January, otherwise you'll be late. For biology and biomedical science, chemical science, geography, physical science, this is just to show you that these programs you apply as a bulk, and then you can specialize in year 3 and 4 in many different things. Global Business, a very popular program. We are one of the most entrepreneurial universities in Europe. We have an innovation center open to all our students. And indeed, if you really want to be an entrepreneur, work in marketing, being an accountant, this is the program that you choose. Otherwise, we have business with many other combinations that is for a student that they want to open up to other options. Engineering, we are the oldest university that offer engineering in the English-speaking world. Although sometimes Glasgow University say that they open, I think, 2 months before us. I don't know. But anyway, you choose engineering and then you specialize in year 3 and year 4. You have many different specializations, as you can see there, and you have the opportunity to do a master integrated in the degree if you choose to do 5 years. In that case, in year 4th, you can have an internship for 6 months that is actually paid. And then you have the joint honors degrees. This is just for you to know that there are many different combinations that you can do with the different programs, but you need to check them in our program. We have a table with all the requirements for undergraduate programs, depending on what you choose. This is just a sample. So you have the IB, the A-levels, and all the programs, they are divided by different bands. So you see, for instance, the first one, a special band, 40 points. You will see that this is the minimum for medicine and dentistry. 6 will be for programs like psychology. 33 for law, but you can check everything online. Masters, we have more than 100, so you can check them online. Only highlight a few of them for different. This one, because it's a very interesting multidisciplinary program, smart and sustainable cities that appeal for students with many different backgrounds. Computer science, important because it's filled up very quickly, so you need to apply very soon if you have a student for this one. Law, another very popular program with many different options, is one of the masters in law that you have more options of different modules in Europe. Energy science, very trendy now. We are looking always for resources of energy that they are more sustainable than the traditional ones. We have been doing education for 400 years, so we really know how to do education, and this is a super master with a lot of options. The admissions is, the minimum requirement is 2.1. That translates into most of programs in 3.2, 3.3 out of 4 GPA. IELTS 6.5, the same for undergraduates, and not band below 6, but we accept the equivalent for TOEFL, Duolingo, and so on. The applications there online, ApplyBoard will help you with all of this. What you have to make sure is that for the applications, you actually don't miss the deadline, which is for most of programs undergraduate is 30th of June, but we assess applications on a rolling basis. So the sooner you apply, the better. We have some exceptions, like medicine and dentistry, that the deadline is the 1st of February, and the master you have to check for every program because they have different deadlines. But the sooner, as I say, to you apply, the better, because many programs get very, very busy and very soon they close. From your side, to make sure that the ApplyBoard, they have all the information that they need. So the references, they have to be from high school teachers or counselors for undergrad, and for master program, they have to be from the university. And they have to be signed and in headed paper. Otherwise, they will not be assessed. This is very important. This is an idea about the fees that you have to pay in Trinity, first for the foundation program, then for undergraduate programs, and then for master programs. And this is an approximation of the cost of living that you have as well in Dublin. Scholarship, I'm not going to go in detail into all of them here, but just for you to know that most of them, they are partial. And for undergraduates, they are mainly in the first year. So the students, they need to have the means to come to Trinity. And that's the most important message. We're happy to help a little bit if they are good students, and we think that they are going to provide something to the Trinity community, but they have to have the money. So it's not that meaningful for a student that they don't have enough resources. And that's everything from my side. So I'm going to to Frank, and you will hear everything about this.
So, Antonio, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation on Trinity College Dublin. Thank you so much. And now we're handing over to Frank from Dublin City University.
Thanks so much, Antonio. So I'm Frank. I'll just make sure you can see my slides okay, can you? And you can hear me okay, yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah, my name's Frank. I'm the Marketing and Communications Officer for DCU's Global Recruitment Office. So I kind of work with most regions, so I'm not specific to any region. And I'm just going to basically give you a brief kind of introduction to DCU, some of our programs, and then also Ireland and Dublin in general. So I know Antonio touched on a lot of kind of the points about Ireland and Dublin in general, but I'll just go over some of them quickly again. We're located same as Trinity in Ireland's capital, Dublin, which is a city of about 1.5 million people, which for Ireland is the biggest city, but for most international students, it's much smaller than what they used to. So Ireland is rising in popularity in recent years for kind of international study. It's taken advantage of kind of decrease in popularity in some other regions. And there's three main points that this is down to, mainly because we're a very welcoming and vibrant community in Ireland. We're very friendly and we're very open to new people. Most of our international students have no problems integrating into the community at DCU and other universities and in Dublin in general. Another big thing that Antonio touched on is that it's a massive now base for industry with many like multinational companies having their European headquarters now based in Dublin across the pharmaceutical sectors, IT sectors, financial services, accounting. A lot of these companies, I think there's over 1,500 to have European headquarters in Dublin. And this is a great kind of opportunity for international students to go on and work in after they complete their studies. And then the final thing is that we're English speaking, and with Brexit, obviously, we're now the only English speaking country in the EU. And since then, a lot more companies have moved to Dublin since the UK's exit from the European Union. So this has only benefited Ireland for both international study and also for industry. And so more specifically on Dublin then, so some of the companies I mentioned, they're just up on screen. So we've from top software companies, if you're looking at Microsoft, Google, LinkedIn, all have their European headquarters in Dublin. The same with pharma companies like Pfizer. We've got all big four companies when it comes to accounting and financial services. So PwC, EY, Deloitte, and KPMG all have offices in Dublin. So how international students can take advantage of this is in two kind of key ways. While they're studying, they can work up to 20 hours part-time. This might be in a kind of professional sector, could also be in more retail or hospitality sector. And then during holiday periods, they also get to work up to 40 hours. This kind of gives them an opportunity to earn some money while they're studying, and it puts less stress on them financially, and it gives them more support in funding their studies and funding also just their general life in Dublin. And then another big thing for international students is the fact that they can get a stay back visa once they complete their studies. So when you complete an undergraduate degree, you can stay for up to 1 year. And if you complete a postgraduate degree, you can stay for up to 2 years, stay in Dublin, work full time, and get an opportunity to maybe work in some of these big companies that have their headquarters based in Dublin. So then just moving on to DCU. So in contrast to Trinity, we're a fairly new university. So we were only founded in 1989 when a few small universities joined together to form Dublin City University. So we haven't been around as long as Trinity. We're much newer and we're growing much faster. So we're now home to over 20,000 students. Over 3,500 of these are international, and they come from over 128 different countries. Our location is slightly outside the city, so we're about a 15-minute bus ride on the north side of Dublin City. You can get to the airport by 15 minutes, you can get to the seaside by 15 minutes, and you can get right into the city centre in about 15 minutes. So we're well located for all sorts of amenities and different things that students would need. A great thing about Dublin as well is that we're so close to nature and that there's so much green space in the city, and it's so easy to get out to much quieter areas and much kind of countryside sort of areas of green spaces and to see mountains and different sort of landscapes, which is great. So you've got a taste of everything when you're living in Dublin. So we're a multi-campus university. We have three kind of key campuses, all located in the same sort of area. So these are all within about 15 minutes walk of each other. They're also well connected by public transport. So if you're to get a bus from campus to campus, it should take you less than 5 minutes. So our Glasnevin campus is our main campus and is where the majority of international students will be based. It's a hub for student life, for events, and also for the majority of lectures and people's classes. Our St. Patrick's campus is the largest teacher training institution in Ireland. It's our home to our Institute of Education, but international students don't normally spend a whole lot of time here. They might visit it maybe a few times during their studies. Very rarely international students would be based out of here for the majority of the time. And then finally, All Hallows campus, which is a more historic campus, probably more similar to Trinity's campus. It became part of DCU in 2016, but was built in 1892. International students probably won't have many classes here. It's only home to very few small subjects, but a lot of our accommodation is based here. So international students may end up living here. And if they do, it's a great location to live as it's so close to our main Class 11 campus. So then I know there's so many different rankings and you hear lots of different rankings for different universities, but these are just 6 of the key ones for DCU. In 2022, we were ranked first in Ireland for graduate employment rate and 23rd globally. And this is that 96% of our graduates were either in full employment or in further studies within 6 months of graduation. Our career service was also ranked first in the world for career development at the 2023 Global Student Satisfaction Awards. So this was voted for by the students and is a testament to the work that the career service do. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that a little bit later on. We're also ranked in the top 400 universities globally. That was in the Times Higher Education rankings and the top 60 young universities, because as I mentioned, we're less than 50 years old, so we're still considered a young university. And within that top 60, we're also ranked the highest young university in Ireland. And then the last point isn't really a ranking, but it's more that we put focus on hands-on learning and like industry-based experience in everything that we do. And our postgraduate and undergraduate programs, everything is focused around practical learning, ensuring that our graduates are not just successful in the classroom, but are prepared for the career that they want to go into afterwards. So one of the key ways that we put this focus on industry-based learning is through our internship program. So these are for our undergraduate programs where students will get to work for 6 to 12 months in their third year of study in a company in Dublin or abroad and get practical experience. They'll also get paid full time for this, so they can't do a free internship. So it's a year or 6 months where they get to earn some money, also gain some practical experience. And this kind of makes them much more attractive to employers when they graduate because they haven't just got their degree, but they've also got some practical experience. And when I studied in DCU, I got to take advantage of this. And it gives you a lot of advantages when you come back for your final year. You've got also the theory, but you've also been able to apply that to a practical setting, which is great. We've got our Students Advice Centre, which is ran out of our Student Support and Development department. So they run the orientation, so they'll run welcome programs before people arrive virtually, and then also when they arrive on campus, there'll be over a course of 2 weeks, there'll be lots of different events, particularly for international students to meet other students, get to know the university, get campus tour of the university. Then they've also got their Student Advice Centre, which runs through the whole year, which offers advice on financial stuff, if they need health and well-being support and mental health support. There's all these support services available for international students. And then we've also got our academic support centre, which is composed of an academic writing centre and then a maths centre. And this is for students to learn how to academically write properly, how to reference properly, and just to let them get a chance to get to know the Irish academic system, as it may be slightly different to what they're used to at home. And then I touched on our career service. So our career service is award-winning and puts in so much work for students to ensure that they're successful once they leave DCU. They'll run career fairs throughout the year where students will get to meet employers. They'll do CV sessions where students will build their CVs. And this has also gone into LinkedIn now because it's such a useful tool for international students. So they'll teach them how to tone their LinkedIn account to ensure that it's attractive to employers. They'll also do interview preparation. They'll do mock interviews if they've got an interview coming up. They'll host networking events with graduates or different alumni. And they'll also host awards for students too. Outside of the academic bit, there's a wide variety of clubs and societies. There's lots of different sports. So there's football, there's GAA, which is Ireland's national sport. There's rugby, cricket, boxing, and this goes above and beyond for many different things as well. And then there's also societies which cover off film, dance, music, religious societies based around nations. So there's something for everybody. And this is a great opportunity for international students to meet other students that have similar interests, or also gives them an opportunity to try something new and maybe pick up a new hobby. And it's a great way to meet people. And it's definitely something that our international students really value and always come out and say it's a great thing to get involved in while they're studying at TCU. So then I'm just going to Again, similar to Antonio, give a quick overview of some of our programs and give you a sample of what we have available. I'd be here all day if I was to go through every single program separately. But we have a wide range of undergraduate and postgraduate courses available, which are spread across our 4 key faculties for international students, which is Engineering and Computing, our DCU Business School, our Faculty of Science and Health, and our Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Similar to Trinity, we have our own in-house international foundation year for students who don't qualify for direct entry into undergraduate programs. They can come to DCU, they can apply, get their place in their course. They'll be advised then to take the international foundation year. They'll come and take the international foundation year, and once they get the needed grades within the foundation year, they go into the first year in their chosen undergraduate program. The foundation year is split into different streams. So there's a business stream, engineering stream, humanities stream, and a science stream. So they'll be studying subjects that are related to the program that they want to do as their undergraduate program, and it's be preparing them for Ireland's academic system, making sure they're up to the level needed to study at DCU. The first faculty is our Faculty of Engineering and Computing. This puts a lot of focus on research and innovation. They participate in a bunch of large-scale research centres, which will do real-world research. They'll work with organisations in Ireland, and it's a kind of key focus within the department to put money into research and ensure that students can get involved in research while they're studying and also after. Within the faculty, there's state-of-the-art facilities, so there's great labs, there's great technologies, there's 3D printers that they can work with. So there's a lot, again, hands-on focus, ensuring that they're getting that kind of practical experience. All the programs within the department are internationally recognised through Engineers Ireland and also the Washington Accord, which ensures that they can practice not just in Ireland, but around the whole world as engineer, and that the program will be recognised in different countries as well as in Ireland. So some of the programs that are in this faculty, so our Bachelor's of Engineering, you can go into one of 5 options straight away, or you can study general engineering for the first 2 years, and then after them 2 years, you can pick to specialise in the area that you want to do, which includes biomedical, manufacturing, engineering, also mechatronic engineering, computer and technology engineering. And then there's also integrated masters into this. So you can do 1 extra year after your 4 years and get a master's out of it as well. Then we've also got a Bachelor's of Science that has a computer science stream, a data science stream, and a computing for business stream. Similar to as Antonio said, computer science is always a really popular one, and it's one that fills up. Sorry, Bukola, you just raised your hand.
Please go ahead, Frank.
Oh, sorry, no worries. But yeah, as I was saying, computer science is always really popular. So if this is one that your students are interested in, I would recommend to apply as soon as possible. Then at postgraduate level, we have multiple different masters. All of our engineering masters have multiple streams. So our masters in electronic and computer engineering has 5 different streams. Masters in computing has 4 different streams. Our masters in mechanical and manufacturing engineering has 5 different streams. And then we've also got the MA in data protection, privacy, law, and computing, which is between our engineering faculty and also our humanities faculty, if they're more interested in that sort of thing. So the electronic and computer engineering and the mechanical and manufacturing engineering also have January intakes. So you can also start in January if you miss the September application. And it's also good for students maybe who miss out on their visa or get their visa slightly too late, that they can defer and then start in January as well. So it gives them multiple options on when they want to start. So then just moving quickly on to our Faculty of Business. So recently our business school became triple accredited by Equus, AMBA, and AACSB. They also won the Small Business Charter Award in Ireland, which has placed them in the top 1% of business schools worldwide. 2 of the main employers for our business school is KPMG and PwC. So a really highly rated business, and it's has great opportunities for students afterwards. So some of the programs that we offer within the business school, so there's the Bachelor's in Business Studies, which again is general business for 2 years. Then you'll get to do your internship in 3rd year, and then you'll specialize in marketing, human resources, economics. There's 7 different specialisms that you can pick. We've got other programs like a BA in accounting and finance if they know they want to go into that straight away. We have our marketing, innovation, technology course again, which if you're interested in marketing, you can go into that straight away. And then other courses like digital business and innovation. All of them programs again have internships involved in them, and it gives them a chance to get that practical experience. At postgraduate level, some of the main ones and some of the most popular ones are the MSc in Finance, the MSc in Digital Marketing, the MSc in management, both strategy and business. So business is just for people that haven't come from a business background, and strategy is for those who have come from a business background. And we've also added another stream onto that this year, which is operations and supply chain management. We've also got human resource management. We've got multiple accounting degrees. And as you can see here, the management courses and the finance courses, again, have a January start. So it gives them that option to start in January as well as September. So quickly moving on to, I know I'm just running out of time, so quickly fly through the last few ones. So science and health. We've just opened a new building for the Science and Health Factory called the Polaris building, which is dedicated to STEM. Similarly to the engineering programs, are all internationally recognized, particularly in chemistry and psychology. They'll be able to practice across the world, and especially in nursing as well. They won't have any issues with their program not being accepted in different countries. So quickly just run through some of the program. Undergraduate level, it covers sports science, psychology, maths, physics, biology, chemistry. So you can study all kind of strands of science within the faculty. Postgraduate level, again, exact same, covers all strands, physics, sports science, financial science, then psychology, chemistry, and bioprocess and biotherapeutics, all that sort of stuff. I know I'm going very quickly through the programs, but if you have any questions about particular programs, you can always go to ApplyBoard and they'll be able to help you. Again, then our humanities and social sciences is our largest faculty, covers a wide range of areas, so law, politics, media, communications. Again, has state-of-the-art facilities, so they have TV, radio, video production studios. They have a moot court for our law degrees where you can do mock trials. Again, this is just putting that focus onto the hands-on practical learning and ensuring that they're getting practical experience as well as the theory side of things. Again, here's just this kind of sample of some of the programs. So journalism, international relations, civil law, multimedia. We have our LLM then at postgraduate level, which is 5 different streams. Then journalism, emerging media. We have our newest course, which is MA in documentary practice. It's the first of its kind in Ireland. And then also like international relations. We also have economics, politics, and law. So fees wise, they range from about 16,000 to 25,000, which are fairly competitive in comparison to other Irish institutions. Undergraduate level is 16,000 to about 19,000. Postgraduate then ranges from about 16 to 25. The one programs that are on the higher end of the scale at 25,000 have an automatic scholarship involved in them as well that will bring you down to about 19,000. So it does give a discount for students as well. Some of the scholarships, so again, very few, we don't really have any scholarships that offer full funding. And we do accept external scholarships like the Irish Government Scholarship, which gives students full funding. But we do have merit-based scholarships, and then particularly in engineering and computing, a scholarship that will give students on postgraduate degrees a big reduction on their fees. Most of these are based on academic merit, and it's for the kind of high achieving students. Entry requirements, so just quickly run through them. For postgraduate degree, you'll need an internationally recognized bachelor's degree with a minimum of a second class honors, which is a 2-2. Some programs will need a 2-1. And if you want to email us, we can give you the kind of conversion in the GPA in different countries. Some postgraduate programs also need an interview, personal statement, maybe a writing sample, or there may also be some other entry requirements involved. For undergraduate, so if you're doing the International Baccalaureate or the A levels, you can be considered for direct entry, as well as a few other countries you can be considered for direct entry. But if you've studied also for 1 year in a university and you want to transfer, you can transfer to the first year. A full list of our requirements can be found on the website, but for a lot of countries, you will have to do that foundation year beforehand. So English language requirements, so these are just the 3 kind of main ones: IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo. We will look at the sub scores as well in TOEFL and Duolingo and IELTS, so it's not just your overall score that counts. We do accept other exams as well, and the full kind of list can be found on our website. So just before I move on to the accommodation, so about the applications, if you're looking to apply, just get onto ApplyBoard and they will be able to help you with your application. They'll be able to help you get more details, that sort of thing. And then just accommodations. So we do have a lot of on-campus accommodation. The rates start from about 6,700 per year, depending on the room. Some are shared, some aren't shared. Most of them, all of them, you'll have your own bedroom, but the shared piece will be the sitting room, the bathrooms, that sort of stuff. But some have private bathrooms and kitchens as well. But yeah, I think that's just on time, maybe just slightly over. But that's all for me. And if you have any questions, you can just put them into the Q&A box and I'll try to get to them.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for sharing the insights on Dublin City University. At this point, we're going to take questions. Yeah. I'll just be reading through the questions that have been added in the Q&A feature. So the first question says, do students from the Middle East in the national curriculum need a foundation year in order to be eligible for first year entry? So that has not been directed to any particular school. So if we could get insights on this from both DCU and CCD.
I think I mentioned that, yeah. So if you're in the Middle East, most of the countries, they have a national curriculum that is the Thanawiya, and they have to apply through the foundation. They don't have direct access into the first year. There is only one exception of a national curriculum in the Middle East, which is Turkey. But Turkey is sometimes Middle East and Europe, depending what part of Turkey you look at. But they have a national curriculum that exceptionally, if you're coming from some of the top high schools, they may skip the foundation year, but only a few schools. So the short answer is the general rule, they have to do.
Yeah, we're the same in DCU. For most of the natural curriculums in the Middle East, you'd have to come through the foundation program. If students in the Middle East are taking other exams, they can be considered for direct entry, but if they're doing the national curriculum, yeah, most of the time it will be foundation, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is directed at CCD. The question is, what about the level of study? As Ireland does not accept all bachelor's degree from Bangladesh to direct entry to master's, e.g. the BBA programs. So the question is, why is that, and how can we process files for a BBA graduate? They are also asking, yeah.
Okay, if they check, so what the equivalency between the degrees, and that's not for Bangladesh, it's all around the world. So in Ireland, you have all the programs, they're ranking from 1 to 10, depending on the level of education. So the 10 is the top, and it's a PhD. Then you have a 9, which is a master programs. Then you have an 8, which is an honors degree. And then 7 is an ordinary. So in some countries, if it's internationally recognized, the degree that you offer as an ordinary degree, which is level 7 in Ireland, then you cannot apply directly to master's degrees in Trinity, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's understood. There's also a question saying, is the overall Duolingo score enough to apply, or would you look at each component?
We usually look at the components, and I think Frank will say the same. So I think most of the English certificates that you look at, we accept broadly all the recognized one. Even for applying for a visa is valid as well. So they started with COVID and they kept it. But in the universities, we tend to look as well at, we have a minimum per different sections as well, no? Oral, written, reading, and everything.
Yeah, DCU would be the exact same. We would look at the sub scores. So obviously you have to get the overall score, but you also need to get the sub scores in each section. And there's not really any, we get lots of questions asking, can you make exceptions? But no, it's whatever the sub score is, that has to be achieved. And that's also part of the visa application as well as the university's application.
The next question, it's also in that same line. It says, do you accept medium of instruction documents as proof of English language? I think this is both for DCU and CCD.
Yes,
we
so
do it
this,
go ahead. No,
it depends. So it will be down to our admissions team to make the final decision. It depends on the country that you've studied in, and it also depends on the university, what school or university, if it's postgraduate or undergraduate. For most of the time, you probably will have to do the English proficiency exam. I'd probably use that as a rule of thumb. There are a small few exceptions that they will take, but I would take it as a rule of thumb that you will most likely have to do the English proficiency exam.
In our case, so if you are doing as an undergraduate, if you're doing IB A levels, you may not need to have an English certificate because that's enough. For master students that applicants that they prove that they have studied through the medium of English, the undergraduate program, admission usually waive the English requirement. But most importantly, if they have to apply for a visa, they will need to have an English requirement anyway. So that's important to know as well.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Antonio. The question is, what is next after a one-year foundation program at Trinity College Dublin?
Next is the degree. So you do the foundation year, and then you pick up before. So let's say you want to do engineering, you want to do biology, you want to do law, you want to do business. So you do the foundation year that prepares you for business, for law, for whatever program you choose. And then you have to complete the 4 years undergraduate program.
Thank you, Antonio. We also have a question here for both DCU and CCD. The question is, what is the tuition fee deposits to be paid once admission is approved? Frank?
So for DCU, once you accept your place, it's a €500 deposit. And then before you apply for your visa, then you'd have to pay 60% of your fees. And then the remainder of your fees has to be then paid before the end of semester 2. So on acceptance, the deposit is €500.
In Trinity, it varies a little bit. So for undergraduate programs, it can be from 2,000 to 4,000, depending on the type of program. For master, it will be the same. It will be €500 deposit.
Thank you. There's also a question here for both schools asking if the scholarships are eligible for every country or are there exceptions?
Yeah, ours are every country, yeah.
Okay. They're also asking on the backlogs accepted for both universities or admissions to be issued.
The acceptance rate, Bukola?
You didn't get that?
What is the question exactly?
Yeah, the accepted backlogs for admissions to be granted and the students' transcripts. How many backlogs are accepted for both schools?
I think it's for a backlog is like a repeat exam. No, I think
Yeah.
is what so if they've repeated exams, I'm guessing if
failed,
it's a master's program, if they've done a
Yeah.
repeat. For us, it's just based on your final grade, and if they don't look into how many backlogs you've done. It will all be based on if your final grade reaches our requirement.
In our case, I don't know, it depends. Some for undergraduates, some of them in the high school system, I don't know if that's the right answer, but they have to do in one sitting, for instance, so they cannot mix up in the case of American curriculum, it's unweighted, but I recommend to check it out depending on the curriculum they are coming from, if this is for undergrad. For masters, that it doesn't matter.
Okay, that's great. The next question here is asking on how many hours of work rights the students have. I think I can take this. So for students that will be studying in Ireland, they can work for 20 hours per week during the school sessions, and during the holiday periods, they can work for up to 40 hours per week. The next question is for DCU. What are the entry requirements for masters, minimum entry requirements, as Ireland has a slightly different study level, I believe?
Yeah, so ours, the study grades would be, so for masters, it's called a 2-2, which is second class honors lower. But for some of our programs, it'll be a 2-1, so it'll be a second class honors higher. We can give the exact equivalences in your country's program. So if you have a GPA system, if you get onto us, we'll be able to give you that exact equivalence. But it's normally at least a second class honors lower.
Next question is for CCD. What are the academic and IELTS entry requirements for foundation program?
The foundation program, it will be usually between 5 and 6. So instead of 6.5, some programs that they require still 6.0, and some others will be more for 5.5. And then the equivalent in TOEFL, Duolingo, Pearson, or Cambridge, whatever you choose.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Frank. It says, does DCU require a specific deposit amount to be paid by students before they can get visas? And how much it is? So I think that has been answered. Upon accepting their admission, they have to pay 60% of the tuition fee. The next question is for both schools. It says, what is the study gaps for international applicants? What's the maximum study gaps? I think this applies to both the undergrad and the postgrad programs. So I think DCU can go first.
Yeah, so so for us, it doesn't matter how long your study gap has been. But I know for the visa, so when you're applying for your visa, it doesn't matter again how long your study gaps have been. You just have to give reasoning of why there has been that gap and what you've done in that gap.
The only problem that they have to be more careful is with the foundation, because the foundation tend to be the youngest students in Trinity. So if a student is typically already above 21, 22, they wouldn't be accepted.
Thank you, Antonio. The next question is asking if there are online programs available at both universities.
I see that Frank is working there. So I answer from our side. There are very few online programs, but they can check it out online, but there is not that many.
Sorry, I just had to move very quickly. Ours is the same. We have very few online opportunities for international students. Most of our programs will be full-time on campus.
The next question is on the application fees. What are the application fees necessary for CCD and DCU?
So ours it's a €50 application fee. If you're applying directly, that would allow you to apply for 3 different programs. If you're applying through ApplyBoard, you should be able to get an application fee waiver. But they might have their own application fee, but I'm unsure.
In our case, it's €55 for undergraduate programs and masters, and for the foundation programs, our partners like ApplyBoard, you don't have to pay an application fee.
The next question is asking if the scholarships are automatic or if the students need to apply separately?
So yeah, all of ours are automatic. So when you apply to the university, you're automatically considered for the scholarship. And when you get your offer letter, you'll be told in your offer letter whether you got accepted for any of the scholarships as well.
Fortunately, you have to apply separately.
Okay, thank you. The next question is asking if home-based exams are accepted for the English language proficiency. So the home-based exams here would be Duolingo.
Duolingo is accepted. I think that's the only one that's home-based that I know of. But yeah, that is accepted.
Okay. So the last question here would be if double masters are accepted. So I think that would mean if a student already has a master's degree from their home country and they want to reapply for a master's at DCU or TCD, is that accepted?
That's perfectly fine at DCU.
No problem at all. If they want to do the more the merrier. They can do as many masters as they want.
All right. I think that's it for our questions today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks
Thanks a
very
lot,
much.
everybody.